At a COP26 press conference, Tzu Chi advocates for a plant-based diet to reduce global warming. In Malaysia, Tzu Chi Kedah chapter helps citizens stranded in a flood that was caused by heavy rain. Welcome to That Headlines. I'm Jenny Lee. Thank you for joining us. The issue of comprehensive promotion of plant-based diets continues to receive attention at COP26. At a press conference jointly organized by Tzu Chi and the International Plant-Based Diet Organization, companies advocate plant-based diet as the main direction to slow down global warming.
At COP26, the Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation and ProVeg International co-hosted a press conference calling for systemic action from individuals, organizations, and governments to drastically reduce meat consumption and methane emissions.
And what has not been discussed here in Glasgow is the potential of plant-based proteins to mitigate the impact of food systems on the climate crisis.
Governments can create enabling environment for consumers. We need to get the price of meat, of dairy up, and we need to get the price of vegetables and plant-based products down. But we need the support of government with concrete policies that favor the plant-based sector and plant-rich diets in general.
Therefore, we hope to see plant-rich diets in the global north as a multiple problem solution, and we hope to see it clearly featured on next year's COP's agenda in Egypt. We need to have plant-rich diets on the agenda.
The CEO of Impossible Foods also attended this press conference, proposing the goal of phasing out industrial animal farming by 2035 from the perspective of corporate social responsibility as well as the R&D of plant-based food technology.
Yeah, I founded Impossible Foods because I realized that it was the best way to halt the regression of climate change and the only way to reverse the collapse of global biodiversity. We set out to develop a technology platform that would outperform animals as a system for turning plants into meat and fish and dairy foods. And we have very strong proof of concept that that's working. Our intention is to scale that technology to effectively make animal agriculture obsolete by 2035. That I picked 2035 because basically I thought we could realistically achieve our goal of replacing animals with biotechnology for food production and that it needed to be urgent, so that's what we set as our target.
How will you be able to reach that goal?
Make the best, most delicious, healthy, affordable meat, fish, and dairy foods in the world, and no one will ever want to buy the animal products.
There is a compassionate food system in Tzu Chi, and we innovate into plant-based food and instant packs that can be quickly delivered in disaster response.
The US is one of the biggest meat consumption area, but as far as Tzu Chi is concerned, they talk about taste, but actually the Tzu Chi plant diet, even our Tzu Chi own product, is very tasty and they are very good in terms of nutrition. So I'm very optimistic that even if it's a challenge, we can promote that in all the different levels of the society.
Tzu Chi's belief in a compassionate diet, the transformation of an individual's diet, and a collective concern for the environment and its ecology were also shared at another seminar on the transformation of food systems.
In a year's time, we actually slaughtered more than 77 billion animals, and it's only for human consumption. We hope to promote deep down individual behavioral transformation that we wish to see in everyone's daily action. We hope that everyone can actually implement the action that they advocate in their life. Never underestimate the power of individual consumption practices and also the potential of faith-based organizations.
Governments of various countries have imposed stricter greenhouse gas emissions, hoping to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. Taiwan's Climate Change Response Act was proposed in 2020 and is currently entering the second phase, which is formulating Taiwan's carbon fee system. Here's the news.
欢迎台泥集团张安平董事长。
订定一个循环社会法。全球气候的变迁呐，这是。
I hope that we can work hard to achieve the path towards net zero carbon emissions. We are working hard on a more complete program.
E3 joined hands with industry, government, academia, and research units to hold a forum to declare net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Taiwan Cement, a major carbon producer and Taiwan's largest cement supplier, participated in the announcement. The production limestone must be heated to make cement. This emits a lot of carbon dioxide. Therefore, Taiwan Cement has set a target of reducing its carbon emissions by 11% in 2025, another 30% in 2030. In order to reach these standards as soon as possible, Taiwan Cement and Tzu Chi have joined hands to scientifically reduce carbon emissions. The Hualien Heping plant, a calcium loop capture carbon dioxide system, was built.
Limestone in the system, it will become calcium carbonate after reacting with carbon dioxide emitted from the chimney. The most important advantage is that it is combined in the current cement plant. Live calcium oxide and calcium carbonate can be directly imported into the cement plant as its raw material, so it has no waste at all.
Cement is needed by mankind for building, but carbon reduction is the current countermeasure for the coexistence of civilization and nature. Carbon reduction can take on the same importance as losing weight. It must be carefully calculated. According to statistics from the British Energy and Climate think tank, 127 countries have responded to a plan for net zero emissions.
The whole world has to face this climate issue together. It uses very obvious scientific logic to develop a system to pose a solution for the Earth.
The EU has a group called EU ETS, where all EU countries started this kind of carbon trading 10 years ago. South Korea also has a carbon trading system, and China also has this kind of carbon trading system.
On the basis of the damage or maintenance cost method, companies with an annual output of more than 25,000 tons of carbon emissions are subject to charges. How much should Taiwan's carbon fee cost?
The carbon fee will only be authorized after the law is amended. At present, it is actually under discussion, and no discussion has been made yet.
While government has yet to fix a price for carbon, there are already companies in Taiwan that purchase carbon rights as they see similar changes abroad. This large piece of hillside is full of many tea trees. In Taiwan, because of climate geography and environmental factors, many places produce tea. Annual tea production in Taiwan is as high as 20,000 metric tons, of which half is used for exports. The entire process of tea production and packaging has a large carbon footprint. So now some in the industry are launching so-called low-carbon tea. Each tea sample is steeped in boiling water for 6 minutes. Tea master Tang Jiahong carefully tastes and examines the tea. Tang Jiahong is a tea producer in central Taiwan. 2 years ago, he bought 19 tons of carbon rights to make their own tea carbon neutral.
In the tea making process, what we use the most is gas and electricity. In the production process, such as harvesting tea or drying the tea and producing it, it doesn't matter if it's machines. These are our highest carbon emissions based upon our calculations.
Tang Jiahong has long realized that current international pressure is pushing his business in this direction. However, not every small business has a consensus.
Personally, I think there will be some disadvantages. Large companies will buy a larger amount of carbon rights, but my thinking is that small companies are more flexible in this area. I think if you do carbon footprint rights, and if consumers have such a concept, then when thinking like this, small businesses are more flexible and can operate this way.
At present, the Ministry of Economic Affairs tends to let large companies lead small and medium-sized enterprises to reduce carbon. At the same time, Taiwan hopes to finalize its carbon fee system as soon as possible, so that it won't be prevented from competing for international business.
72-year-old Zhu Liangtian owns a stall with his wife in Taoyuan's Heping Market, where they have sold rice cakes for 20 years. Last year, when Zhu Liangtian was an intern volunteer, he decided to become a vegetarian. This year, he has changed his rice cake menu into vegetarian. Let's see his story.
哇，今天开谁呀？哎呦，有的。我们的朱师兄最棒。
Starting from 1991, I got into Tzu Chi. I am a member now, and I've always been practicing recycling.
都有一直在做了。
I have to do recycling 1 day per week. We take different shifts. and we have to go to 4 or 5 locations to collect recyclables. The truck is here now. Master Zhen Yan kept on promoting eco-friendliness, so we corresponded too by following her, and for me, I kept on doing recycling. We have to stir-fry the sesame and grind it. We did it on our own. We bought raw sesame.
The food they sell here are very nice. They also make their own stuffings at home.
When I was entering Tzu Chi for volunteer training, I started to prepare. I turned and put away meat products and started to transform my food into vegetarian cuisine.
So we are promoting vegetarianism. This makes us feel more comfortable.
We lost about 30 to 40% of our customers.
If our business gets worse, we are volunteers now, so we will definitely put more time in volunteering.
Everyone will eat vegetarian food due to health reasons. So I think that people will soon follow this trend if they want to be healthy.
If I am by the market, I will come over to his store and buy his food. My family members love the food here.
Recycling volunteer Gao Bingkun used to gamble, but renounced his old habit as he has become a Tzu Chi recycling volunteer. Because of the pandemic, the recycling station was closed, but he did not take a break and used the free time to carry out maintenance work.
It is really hard for me to get rid of bad habits than the Sun Yat-sen revolution. He succeeded in 10 revolutions, but I have tried many times before succeeding. I started doing recycling with the Master's Dharma.
He turned a factory into a recycling education station to devote himself to recycling, but the walls were covered with grease. After cooking for a long time, it was very difficult to clean it up.
There's no way to repair or organize it in normal time. During the pandemic, I invited Brother He Zisong to participate in the renovation. The tiles are provided by him because he is professional and he pays for it. I'm responsible for plumbing works.
During the pandemic, some recycling volunteers were not idle. Volunteers Wang Jingye is specialized in recycling plastic bags.
I came at about 9 o'clock in the morning and go home after 4. There were many plastic bags, so it took me a lot of time to deal with them. I regularly collect plastic bags from 2 fruit stalls. During the pandemic, I still went there to collect plastic bags and dry them in our alley before sorting them.
环保菩萨啦，面对着瓶瓶罐罐啦，真济垃垃圾圾啦，确实呢，有一群啦，真勇敢，真勇猛吼，唔惊臭，唔惊垃圾，愿意啦，安尼去搬转来。
This group of volunteers work hard to show their determination to protect planet without complaining.
In Malaysia, Keda's Alor Star, the locals face floods every year. Due to the rainy season, multiple regions in the city experience high water level. Upon noticing the situation, Tzu Chi Keda chapter sent out volunteers to assist fellow members while distributing food to citizens in need.
The entire community is flooded with dirty water, as many homes with first floors are completely covered in water. In Keda's Alor Star, the flood this time is the most serious in 10 years.
It rose from the river over there to here, because the embankment ends here. Yet the estuary is here, therefore the flood started over here. It rose to about this high. The water that came in here all went to our home over there.
In the past, the floods never got into our home. The water levels weren't that high before. We did add some wooden obstacles to block out the water, but the water levels were too high. Our pump almost broke down.
High tides met with a rainy season. This caused low-altitude regions in Kara to experience severe flooding.
2 floods per day. It happens around lunchtime and midnight. I'm glad we can put some of our times onto these sports. If not, things will be serious. I can't rest because I must be alert and monitor the water's levels.
As the water level drops, Tzu Chi volunteers immediately go on missions, providing flood-affected residents the immediate help they needed.
I hope the water can go away soon, and I pray for your well-being and safety. We'll be here, and if you need any help, tell us. Do you want desserts? We have bread and water here.
Our Dharma friend's house experienced floods, so we must bring his items up and put it at a higher place. At night, when they are sleeping, it's safer. They do not have to think about their belongings sinking into the water.
Facing the sudden flood, volunteers immediately arrived to bring care, accompanying flood-affected residents through the hard times.
Tzu Chi University's 2021 stimulated surgery starts off as 8 silent mentors selflessly gave themselves to medical science. One of the silent mentors is Master Zheng Yan's most senior disciple, Dharma Master Tzu. On the day of the ceremony, Dharma masters from Jingzi abode arrived to bring blessings.
Upon every chant, people at the scene pray for silent mentors. This time, beloved Dharma Master Tzu's kind thoughts will benefit future generations. In the past, Dharma Master Tzu always greeted others with a smile and a kind attitude. She treated everyone like a kind mother. She followed Dharma with a strong determination and followed Master Zheng Yan in order to benefit sentient beings. At the final moments of her life, she grabbed onto the chances to do good deeds, becoming a silent mentor for the medical science field.
We are really appreciative to Dharma Master Tzu. She followed Master Zheng Yan for a long time and witnessed the early hardships of Tzu Chi. Despite many difficulties, she still followed Master Zheng Yan and led Tzu people into spreading Tzu Chi to the world.
The 4-day surgery courses allow doctors from different associations and departments to improve their surgical skills, alleviating the sufferings of future patients.
This is the first time for the students to perform such a complicated surgery. They not only learned about surgical skills, but also the great love and selflessness of silent mentors, as well as Tzu Chi's spirit.
As the 8 silent mentors selflessly donated their bodies in order to support the medical field, doctors at the scene have learned valuable life lessons.
In Kaohsiung's Daliao district, the Tzu Chi New Shoot Scholarship awarded 27 people this year, and student Chen was amongst the recipients. Due to the pandemic, Chen's mother had no income, but gladly, Tzu Chi's relief plan allowed Chen to be registered for school.
As the New Shoot Scholarship arrives, volunteers went to student Chen's home. The family of 3 lives in a rented room. The separated bedroom is small, as the space is split by furniture. In order to host a proper and serious award ceremony, Mother Chen borrowed space from a nearby office.
Mother, you have worked hard. Thank you for your care over the past 10 years.
Student Chen, an excellent Taekwondo athlete, is studying at a high school outside of her county. Due to the pandemic, her mother had no income as a piano teacher, and as she can't pay for her daughter's tuition, she took on the job of a delivery person. The mother's friend was worried until Tzu Chi stepped in to help.
When she called me, it was like light shining into darkness, and I decided to help her out.
On the registration day's deadline, my friend paid the registration fees, so I told a Tzu Chi sister that I am willing to become a Tzu Chi member.
The help in time has relieved the single mother's economic hardships. The daughter also practiced harder in Taekwondo and received Tzu Chi's New Shoot Scholarship Award in order to lower her mother's economic pressure. This year, Due to the pandemic, more care recipient cases appear in Kaohsiung's Daliao district.
This year, the care recipient case did increase, and through the help and introduction from school teachers, we are here to help students out.
The immediate assistance and care from Tzu Chi volunteers has allowed families like the Chen household to have more confidence in times of hardships.
Most of Taoyuan's New Shoot Scholarship Awards this year were delivered at home by volunteers. However, volunteers in Guishan District held a small award ceremony with 19 students showing either outstanding performance in their field of study or exceptional filial piety.
The melodious violin sound is heard throughout the awards venue due to this young performer surnamed Hong, who is a student winning the Tzu Chi New Shoot Scholarship this year. Although her father suffered a stroke and her family was in financial difficulty, she never gave up her favorite interest, music.
Thank you to the brothers and sisters for often visiting us and caring about her father. His health is better now and he feels a little happier. Thank you for your help so that we can feel more at ease to let our kid go out and develop.
In response to the pandemic, Tzu Chi's New Shoot Scholarship Award ceremonies this year are all done on a small scale. This student, surnamed Huang, won the Filial Piety Award and shared this honor with his mother.
Thank you, Tzu Chi, for giving me this opportunity to get this scholarship. I'm also grateful to Tzu Chi aunts and uncles for coming to our house and caring for us. Thank you to my parents, too. Thank you, everyone.
In Guishan, Taoyuan, 19 children received the awards. Volunteers sent their blessings, making the scene warm and lively.
Thanks to Tzu Chi aunts and uncles for their company and helping during this period of time. Life is a bit difficult, but I am really touched by everyone helping me. I'm willing to help others like everyone in Tzu Chi, spreading the love around.
Volunteers' company allows young students not to give up in the face of adversity, moving forward bravely towards their dreams.
The art rehabilitation program in prison could help former prisoners to be reintegrated into society more efficiently. In 2021, an art exhibition featuring works of rehabilitated people opened in Taichung. More than 100 artworks were on display from all over Taiwan. Take a look.
Each of these watercolor and ink painting have different styles, which are drawn by the rehabilitated painter Huang Yingcheng.
I have been drawing for 14 years, and I haven't taken a break. I only take one day off a year. It's New Year's Day. Every other time I'm painting.
In 14 years, 80 works received awards. 51-year-old Huang Yingcheng spent half his life in prison. After reforming, he hopes to give back through his paintbrush.
I try to give back to society. In prison, there are these resources to nurture us and let us learn a skill to give back to society, such as painting.
In 2021, the Rehabilitated Persons Art Exhibition will display hundreds of artworks at Dadong Cultural Center in Taichung City, showing different talents from painting, sculpture to calligraphy.
They are really talented.
Looking at this painting, I can tell it took a lot of work.
We want to let them show their special qualities and let them feel their value in the society so they can integrate into society a little earlier.
Art can teach people's hearts and rehabilitate people to find the right direction in life through creativity and inspiration.
In Singapore, Tzu Chi volunteers turn ad displays into t-shirts to promote vegetarianism and raise awareness. Here's the footage. Thank you for watching.